Have you ever been jolted out of a deep sleep by your dog just erupting in a series of barks? Your heart's pounding and you're thinking, is that a real threat or is he just yelling at a squirrel? It's a question literally every dog owner on the planet has asked. Well, today we are going to get you the answer. We're going to decode the bark and get into the real science of what our dogs are actually saying. Right, so this is the core of it, isn't it? That sudden, booming bark. Is it genuine anger and a warning sign, or is it just loud? Getting this right is absolutely crucial, not just for our peace of mind, but for everyone's safety. So how in the world do we tell the difference? Well, the good news is we don't have to guess. It turns out the answer isn't in how loud the bark is. Nope, it's hidden in the science of the sound itself. And if we can just wrap our heads around a couple of basic ideas about sound, we can go from just hearing noise to actually understanding the message. Okay, so let's get into it. To become a pro at this, you really only need to listen for two things. Think of them as two secret clues that are hiding in plain sight, or, plain sound, in every single bark. And once you know how to spot them, you're gonna have a way clearer picture of what's going on in your dog's head. First up is pitch. And all this is how high or low a sound is. Super simple. So think about the deep booming sound of a big tuba. That's a low pitch. And then contrast that with the sharp high sound of a flute. That's a high pitch. Now this is a huge clue because in the animal world, low-pitched sounds often signal a bigger animal, which makes it a key part of any threat display. And our second clue, that's frequency. Now, I know that sounds a little technical, but it's really not. It's just about how fast the barks are coming. Is it one single woof and then a break? Or is it a frantic, rapid-fire series of barks with no space in between? That speed and repetition, that's a critical part of the message. And you can see this so clearly when you put them side by side. On one hand, you've got the low pitch of a growl, that deep, chesty rumble that just screams warning or back off. It's designed to sound big and serious. But on the other side, you've got the high pitch of a yelp, which we immediately recognize as excitement or maybe even surprise or pain. The emotional information is completely different. All right, so now that we have our decoder tools, pitch and frequency, we can finally dissect what a genuinely aggressive bark actually sounds like. Let's look at how these pieces come together to create what is essentially a vocal signature for aggression. So when researchers actually analyzed these sounds, they found this really specific pattern. A truly agitated bark almost always has a low pitch, and that's because it's trying to mimic the sound of a bigger, more dangerous animal. It's an acoustic way of puffing out their chest and saying, I am a threat. Then you add in a harsh, guttural tone, and it's delivered with this rapid, unbroken frequency, just one bark right after another, with none of that playful up and down you'd hear during a game of fetch. And what's so fascinating here is just how different they are when you compare them directly. I mean, look at the agitated bark column. The pitch is consistently low, the tone is harsh, and the frequency is rapid. Now look over at the playful or just loud bark. The pitch goes up and down, it's often higher, the tone is a lot clearer, more of that classic arf sound, and there are actual pauses between the barks. Acoustically, they are worlds apart. So really, understanding these key differences is what allows us to make the right call in the moment. It's all about training ourselves to listen past the volume and tune into the actual structure of the sound. And look, if you only take away one single thing from all of this, please let it be this. The research is crystal clear. The most reliable indicator of real aggression isn't the loudness, it's the low pitch. That deep, rumbling sound is the #1 warning sign you need to pay attention to. It's a direct, instinctual signal of a threat. So here's the bottom line. We are all wired to react to loudness, but when it comes to dogs, that can be a big mistake. A high-pitched, loud, excited bark is communicating something totally different from a low-pitched, harsh one. Listening for the pitch, not the volume, is the key to reading the situation correctly and keeping everybody safe. Okay, so how can you actually put this into practice? Let's walk through a super simple 3-step guide that will help you listen like an expert the next time you're trying to figure out what a dog is really trying to say. And honestly, it's this simple. Number 1, just pause. Take a half second to actually listen instead of just reacting to the noise. Number 2, identify the pitch. Just ask yourself, is this a low, chesty rumble bark or is it a higher pitched yip? And finally, number 3, check the frequency. Is it a relentless, nonstop barrage, or are there actual breaks between the sounds? And why does any of this matter? Well, because when we truly understand what our dogs are trying to tell us, we can respond so much better. We can calm down a tense situation before it escalates, or we can just share in a moment of pure, silly excitement. It builds trust, and it just makes that bond we have with them that much deeper. You know, by learning the language of the bark, we're basically opening a brand new door to communication. It kind of makes you wonder, right? Now that you can tell the difference between an angry warning and a happy shout, what other more subtle messages have we been missing this whole time?